you seen Star Wars?
There's a lot of Star Wars shows and series that are rumored to be coming to Disney+, but the confirmed ones are ones like, of course, Mandalorian, Cassian Andor, Kenobi, the Bad Batch series, and one by Leslie Headland, who is going to be the show creator of her own Star Wars series. And today she actually gave an interview kind of speaking a little bit more about the series, and it's an interesting take. She says, "I would say it's in a pocket of the universe and a pocket of the timeline we don't know much about. I kind of see if Star Wars is a religion. I like to think of my show as a tent revival. You can come over if you want. We're going to be talking about some cool stuff. There's going to be some things we haven't discussed in the canon yet. There are going to be some characters you don't know about." And it's interesting that she mentions tent revival, because that basically means, at least what I know about it, it's where a bunch of Christian worshipers get in a tent and they specifically talk about revival, I guess. And I'm not the most religious man, but I am a Christian, and I guess that's where we revive our religious faith in some sense. And it seems like that's what she's hinting at, because she talks about Star Wars being a religion, which is an odd thing to talk about within the canon, because she says she sees if Star Wars is a religion, and that would be kind of odd in the Star Wars universe if, like, some Jedi is like, you know what, we haven't talked about the Star Wars religion. We've been talking about the Jedi religion, but not the Star Wars. I mean, that's like breaking the fourth and fifth wall right there that I would be a little uncomfortable with. One thing we've heard about this past week or so is that her series, Leslie Headland's Star Wars series, is going to be martial arts focused, and one thing that was not confirmed by Lucasfilm, but was initially reported on by Variety and double confirmed with Deadline this past week, is that it's going to be female-centric. So I thought, because of all that, putting 1 and 2 together and getting 3, I thought it was going to be the Cara Dune spin-off series, which would make a lot of sense because Cara Dune is played by the actress Gina Carano, who's a former MMA fighter, and she's supposed to be co-starring with Bo-Katan, so that's female-centric right there. But this sounds completely different from that. If it's a pocket of the universe, a pocket of the timeline that we don't know much about, it doesn't seem like it would be taking place between episodes 1 and 9 then, because that's something that we've explored heavily. I don't think it would be High Republic either, because that's not really started yet, and they've also said that they're not going to do any major projects for the High Republic in the near future just because they want to focus on it in the comic books and the books. So maybe it's between episodes 6 and 7, because there's that 30-year gap, and the only time we've really explored that is mostly Mandalorian, which is 5 years after that, and then there's also the Aftermath trilogy, which takes place within that 5 years, I think. So there's a good 30 years to play with between 6 and 7, but maybe between the High Republic, which is like, what, 400 years before The Phantom Menace, maybe between that timeline and Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, we could explore that a little bit. I'm really, actually a little bit more interested in this show now. I will admit that I don't want it to be an alternate universe. If it's a different universe in the Star Wars galaxy or the Star Wars timeline and franchise and everything, I'm not a big fan of that. I don't want alternate realities. I don't want alternate dimensions and all that stuff. That gets a little bit too Marvel and DC-like for my liking. I really want to keep things simple in the Star Wars universe. Maybe this is good news, maybe this is bad news, maybe they're doing something a little bit more bold with Leslie Headland. I'll admit, I don't know much about her track record. I mean, I've looked at it this past weekend on the Tatooine show that we do, and it didn't look that great. It mostly seemed like she worked on kind of comedy shows, and basically everything she worked on was nothing entirely related to sci-fi. I think the closest thing to that was her show Russian Doll, and I've heard some praise for that, but it seems like a comedy drama series. It doesn't seem anything remotely close to what Star Wars would be about. So man, this is a very interesting pick by Lucasfilm. I really wonder if she is going to be writing and directing all the episodes, because she does. I'm skeptical, man. Like, when they announced Jon Favreau being the showrunner for Mandalorian, I was happy with that, because he's not only an actor, he's been a producer, he's been a writer, he's been a director. He's got a track record for this thing. And even with Deborah Chow, when her doing the Kenobi series, she's just directing all of it. She's not writing every episode. So that kind of gives me a little bit more faith, because it's like, hey, she's a great director. I don't know how far I would trust her in terms of writing, because that's someone else's expertise. This lady, though, apparently is the showrunner, so if she's doing what Jon Favreau is doing, then that means writing and directing, and mostly, if she hires other directors, great, but it seems like she's going to be writing this whole thing. And looking at her track record, man, doesn't seem Star Wars-esque, you know? I don't know why they hired her. They must have had a great talk with her and like exactly what she's doing with the Star Wars timeline and what she pitched and had ideas for. I'm not going to say I don't have faith. I'm just going to say I'm very nervous about this, especially if they're going to change things up, especially if they're going to go to a different timeline and a different pocket of the universe. We Star Wars fans are very protective of the Star Wars canon and even the expanded universe. If you mess with things in the wrong way and they're not executed properly and you're kind of just messing with the timeline just to mess with it, it does not bode over well for us. So I wonder how well this is going to be done. I wonder when it's going to come out. There's been more talk about her series lately, so maybe they start production for it in 2021. Maybe we get a little bit more information about that as time goes on. It doesn't seem so, because Lucasfilm over the past year or two has been doing their damnedest to keep a lot of this information under wraps when it comes to the Boba Fett series, when it comes to a lot of the projects that they're working on, even the Darth Maul thing that I was talking about at the beginning of the year. There's a lot of things that they've been keeping kind of below the radar and a lot of secrecy, which props to them. You want that. You want everything to be a surprise. But this is the one that I think a lot of fans are reluctantly interested in, because it's like, what are they going to do with this, and is it going to be a disaster? Because I think that's what a lot of fans are going to expect from this, when it feels like and I'm not saying I feel like this, but I'm saying there's probably a part of the fandom who looks at this and goes, oh, it's female-centric, oh, a lady's running this, oh, it's going to be a different timeline, it's going to be a different universe, see if the Star Wars is a religion. It sounds like, especially when she talks about it being a revival, it sounds like they're almost critiquing Star Wars and trying to change it fundamentally with this show. And now, that could be good, that could be bad. I'm just saying that critics might think this way. Now, I'm not thinking that way yet. I'm being a little cautiously optimistic with it, but yeah, I'm a little nervous just because of not the concept of it, but her track record as a director and as a writer. It doesn't seem as extensive as I would want it to be in a universe similar to Star Wars. But hey, who knows? She may be making the best show we've ever seen in the Star Wars universe. So tell me your thoughts below. What do you guys think about Leslie Headland Star Wars series that's coming probably within the next 3 or 4 years, and it being female-centric, focused on martial arts, and apparently going to see if Star Wars is a religion, have a tent revival, and it's going to be its own pocket of the timeline and own pocket of its universe. So tell me your thoughts about that below. I'm Star Wars Only. If you guys enjoyed this video, please like, comment, and subscribe, because it does about the channel. I will see you all next time, and may the Force be with you always.